The sport of golf is undergoing a massive rebirth. The LIV Golf Invitational Series, also known as the LIV Golf League, has officially arrived, bringing with it a new energy to the gentleman's game as well as a pinch of controversy. Here are some of the controversies surrounding the LIV Golf League. Let's dive in. First up, let's see what LIV Golf actually is. The LIV Golf League is apparently an alternative to the current PGA Tour. They are introducing the foundations of arena-style athletic events into the world of golf. Well, basically the LIV system runs on an entirely new commercial model than the old one. It gives more financial advantage to the players not only through tournament wins but also as different types of compensation. While the PGA Tour doesn't allow appearance fees, LIV Golf does, which means that players competing for the $20 to $25 million purse are also eligible for additional compensation, as well as the opportunity to win an additional $5 million prize for each tournament's team competition. LIV Golf's format includes 8 54-hole, no-cut stroke play tournaments and a final team championship, which LIV described as a seeded 4-day, 4-round match play knockout tournament held in October 2022 at Trump National Doral, Miami. The massive amount of prize money on offer is one of the most enticing aspects of the LIV Golf Tour. A total of $255 million USD is up for grabs across the 8 events, with each regular team event offering a purse of $25 million. Within that, $20 million are divided among the competitors, with the winner receiving a reported $4 million. The staggering amount is more than twice the total purse of the British Masters, with even the man who finishes last pocketing a tidy $120,000. Things got even crazier in the team championship. A whopping $50 million was set aside for the final event, which was divided among the 12 4-man teams. The winning team received $16 million, while the losing team will receive $1 million. Following up, let's see which player participated in the tournament. There are currently 12 teams involved, with 48 players committed for the 2022 season. Surprisingly, the PGA Tour rival has been able to snag a number of top performers, taking them away from their duties during the season. 6-time major champion Phil Mickelson, former world number 1 Dustin Johnson, and Ryder Cup heroes Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, and Ian Poulter are among the stars. Former major champions Graham McDowell, Martin Kamer, and Louis Oosthuizen are among those taking part. Off the course, former world number 1 player Greg Norman is the CEO of LIV Golf. While the list of LIV Golf players appears to be growing, Phil Mickelson has been the standout signing. After biographer Alan Shipnuck published comments in which Mickelson was highly critical of the PGA Tour, the 6-time major winner was linked to the tournament as early as February 2022. The decision became more heated when supporters brought up that the LIV Golf tournament was sponsored by the divisive Saudi government. People suspect the Saudi leader was responsible for the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi and other alleged human rights violations. LIV Golf CEO Greg Norman confirmed in June 2022 that Mickelson would play the first event in London, with a reported $200 million contract. Up next, is LIV Golf taking over the traditional PGA Tour? According to Norman, who was named LIV Golf CEO in October 2021, the tour's goal wasn't to compete directly with the PGA, but rather to provide an alternative. The former professional golfer revealed that the Invitational Series was put in place after a lengthy fan engagement survey and on a schedule that didn't conflict with majors or international team events. The PGA Tour, on the other hand, took significant steps to halt LIV Golf's progress. In June 2022, the organization announced that members who took part in LIV Golf events could be sanctioned for participating in a conflicting event without the tour's permission, threatening suspensions, fines, or bans. The initial stance appeared to be an overreaction, but it wasn't long before the PGA Tour doubled down, reaffirming that members participating in the first LIV Golf tournament were no longer eligible to compete in tour events or the President's Cup. Similarly, a number of key sponsors have opted out of those willing to join the LIV ranks. The current PGA Tour clearly has some skeletons in its closet, and the overwhelming interest in the LIV League suggests that the golfing world is ready for something new. It appears that golf fans have little problem with the tournament itself, but rather with the Saudi sponsorship that plays a major part in organizing the tournament. The CEO of LIV Golf couldn't care less about the dispute that the LIV League is causing between professional players and fans. Next up, PGA Tour suspends 17 players for participating in LIV Golf. Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, and other PGA Tour players who teed off in the Saudi-funded Golf League on Thursday are not eligible for PGA Tour events, according to penalties announced by Commissioner Jay Monahan shortly after the first tee shot. We still don't know whether those players will ever be welcomed back. The ban includes participation in the President's Cup, which is determined by the international team's world ranking. The USGA has already stated that eligible players can compete in the US Open next week. The majors aren't run by the PGA Tour. Monahan mentioned in a memo to tour members that even if players resigned from the tour prior to the first LIV Golf Invitational outside of London, they won't be able to play PG Tour events as a non-member by obtaining a sponsor exemption. Coming up next, why is Tiger Woods not playing in the tournament? Woods, 46, has been one of the PGA Tour's most vocal supporters during its ongoing battle with LIV Golf for the best players in the world. During the Open Championship in St. Andrews, Woods started his support for the R&A's decision not to invite Norman, a two-time winner of the event, to the Open's 150th anniversary celebration. Tiger Woods turned down an offer from the Saudi-funded LIV Golf Series worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $700 to $800 million, according to Greg Norman. Norman confirmed what he told the Washington Post in a story 2 months ago during an appearance on Fox News with Tucker Carlson on Monday night. In June, Norman told the Post that the offer was mind-blowingly enormous. We're talking high 9 digits. Woods has been a vocal opponent of LIV Golf since late last year, and he has said at the British Open that players who accepted money from the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund had turned their back on the PGA Tour that had made them famous. Several longtime corporate sponsors had reportedly deserted players who switched to LIV Golf, which Norman claimed surprised him as well. What's more, the controversy regarding the source of funding for LIV Golf. Due to Saudi Arabia's appalling human rights record, Amnesty International UK has accused LIV Golf players of being willing stooges of Saudi sports washing. Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist for the Washington Post, was allegedly killed by order of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Saudi Arabia announced the mass execution of 81 men in March of this year for terrorism and other offenses, such as having deviant ideas. Plus, Abdul Rahman al-Sadan, a Saudi relief worker, had his 20-year prison term upheld last year for posting humorous tweets criticizing the government. But let's not forget, these are the things being portrayed in the media, and the reality could be a lot different. Sasha Deshmukh, chief executive of Amnesty International UK, stated that it was incredibly disheartening to hear some of golf's most well-known personalities try to downplay the horrific murder of Jamal Khashoggi while avoiding the true gravity of Saudi Arabia's awful human rights record. He further expressed that he'd like to hear players at the LIV Golf Invitational speak out against Saudi Arabia's human rights violations rather than serving as the willing stooges of Saudi sports washing. Let's take a look at what other players think about the whole situation. Norman told Sky Sports News that Saudi Arabia is changing its culture within the country. He further stated, "I don't answer to Saudi Arabia. I don't report to their government or MBS." When Mickelson declared earlier this year that the Saudis were scary and that he was well aware of Saudi Arabia's terrible record on human rights, he landed in hot trouble. "I don't condone human rights violations at all," the American, who declined to confirm if he was paid $200 million to compete in LIV Golf, said on Wednesday. He went on to say he's well aware of what happened to Jamal Khashoggi and finds it deeply disturbing. McDowell called the death of Jamal Khashoggi reprehensible, but he added, "We're not politicians, we're professional players." He continued to say that if Saudi Arabia wants to use the game of golf as a vehicle for them to get where they want to be, he's happy to help. According to Westwood, players have previously taken part in European tour-sanctioned events in Saudi Arabia. Next up, what has the UK government said? Prime Minister Boris Johnson visited the Gulf Kingdom for oil negotiations in March. The UK administration has emphasized the value of the nation's close ties with Saudi Arabia. The UK's connection with Saudi Arabia is very essential, according to Sports Minister Nigel Huddleston. According to Huddleston, Saudi Arabia is an important part of the UK in terms of investment, intelligence, and culture. He believes that many jobs in the UK are dependent on their relationship with the Saudis, but they take advantage of the opportunity to speak candidly and openly with Saudi Arabia. Lastly, what other sports have faced criticism over Saudi links? Golf isn't the only sport under scrutiny because of its ties to Saudi Arabia. Newcastle United was purchased for £300 million in October, with Saudi Arabia's PIF owning an 80% stake. The Premier League confirmed the takeover after saying it had received legally binding assurances that the Saudi state wouldn't control the football club, which was one of the main obstacles to a deal. Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton had previously expressed reservations about competing in the Saudi Grand Prix due to concerns about human rights in the kingdom. There was also criticism of Anthony Joshua's decision to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. for the world heavyweight title in Saudi Arabia in 2019. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts regarding the controversies surrounding LIV Golf? Let us know in the comments section section down below. Make sure to leave a like and share the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you next time.